There's a friend of mine who's got a good saying, which is that starting a company is like eating glass and staring into the abyss. When you first start a company, there's lots of optimism and things are great. And then, so happiness at first is high. Then you encounter all sorts of issues. And happiness will steadily decline. And then you'll go through a whole world of hurt. And then eventually, if you succeed, and in most cases you will not succeed, then if you succeed, then after a long time, you will finally get back to happiness.
Particularly if you're starting a company, you need to work super hard. So what does super hard mean? Well, when my brother and I were starting our first company, instead of getting an apartment, we just rented a small office and we slept on the couch. We had just one computer, so the website was up during the day and I was coding at night. 7 days a week, all the time. Work hard like in every waking hour. That's the thing I would say, particularly if you're starting a company. And I mean, if you do simple math, say like, okay, if somebody else is working 50 hours and you're working 100, you'll get twice as much done in the course of a year as the other company. If you're creating a company or if you're joining a company, the most important thing is to attract great people. So either join a group that's amazing, that you really respect, or if you're building a company, you've got to gather great people. I mean, all a company is a group of people that have gathered together to create a product or service. And so depending upon how talented and hardworking that group is, and the degree to which they're focused cohesively in a good direction, that will determine the success of the company. Focus on signal over noise. A lot of companies get confused. They spend money on things that don't actually make the product better. For any given company, just keep thinking about, are these efforts that people are expending, are they resulting in a better product or service? And if they're not, stop those efforts. And then the final thing is to sort of don't just follow the trend. It's hard to think that way. You can't think that way about everything. It takes a lot of effort. But if you're trying to do something new, it's the best way to think. And then I think that the final thing I would encourage you to do is, now is the time to take risk before you have those obligations. So I would encourage you to take risks now. Do something bold.
I think certainly being focused on something that you're confident will have high value to someone else. A challenge for entrepreneurs is to say, well, what's the difference between really believing in your ideals and sticking to them versus pursuing some unrealistic dream that doesn't actually have merit. That's a really difficult thing to tell you. Can you tell the difference between those two things? Right. You know? So you need to be sort of very rigorous in your self-analysis. I think certainly extremely tenacious, and then just work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in, 80 to 100 hour weeks every week. All those things improve the odds of success. You will achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year to achieve.